Every step you take builds a better you.
Hi, welcome back. This is Sherry from Best Self. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, a life coach, and also a personal trainer who offers services outside in nature. I also have a lot of food sensitivities and food allergies that I've been struggling with ever since birth. And I've had to learn how to drop foods that I love. If I'm allergic to a food, it kind of has adverse reactions that really interfere with me being my best. So I've had a lot of personal experience of having to take foods that I absolutely love and just drop them out of my diet. So today is going to be all about changing your habits in regards to food. We're going to be looking at a couple different things. Number one, realizing what kind of cues you have to have your habit. Number two, arranging your environment so that you will be successful. But you're also going to be coming in and making substitutes that are just as good as the food that you want to give up. Number three, we're going to learn how to distract yourself and delay. And number four, how to reward yourself or consequences. So that's what we're going to look at today. All right, so I'm not really allergic. I think this thing rocks. It's my 90% chocolate. I'm on the line with it. I am not able to tolerate dairy. It says there's no dairy in it. It upsets my stomach a little bit. It's definitely a food that I don't eat 5 weeks out before a competition, so it is my latest food that I'm dropping from my diet. So what I do is I figure out, well, what time of day do I eat this? I obviously don't eat it in the morning, but I will eat this in the afternoon, and I will be dying for it at night or right before I go to bed, sort of as a sweet. I'm also going to be aware that if I have a hard conversation with my kids or my husband and I'm at home and this is available, I'm probably going to try to find it and have a piece, because usually that's how I operate. I like to give myself a little reward or treat. The third thing that I have to watch out for is holidays, parties, vacations, where I feel like I'm partying, and of course that would be eating my chocolate, and I need to be aware that I'm going to be craving it more for those behaviors. So the first step is being aware of your cues, and that helps a lot. So I love this. I've not had it for 1 week, and this is how I did it. I was doing some research. I love this book. I love Julia Ross's stuff. It's called The Diet Cure. And she goes into some really neat information about how amino acids help curb sugar cravings. So that's something that I adapted. She said at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when your sugar cravings are pretty strong, what you want to do is supplement with L-glutamine, which is a really great amino acid. It actually helps with the immune system to repair the muscles again, and it helps you with your thinking and brain function. And also chromium. Chromium is something that she recommends. These things, both around 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, helps reduce the sugar cravings and carb cravings at night. Another thing that I have done, and this gets really sneaky, but I love it anyhow, is I have some protein powder, and I get to have shakes, protein shakes. And my protein is really plain. It's a plain pea protein with no sugar, nothing in it. My kids think it's the grossest thing ever. My clients say it tastes like chalk, but I cheat. I cheat by, I go to the store at Sprouts and get chocolate stevia, and I flavor my awful pea protein so that it tastes like chocolate. And I will also use drops of stevia in my tea, and I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. It's so good. The deal with this stuff is that there's no calories. It doesn't raise your blood sugar level at all, or your glycemic index, which is the same thing. Dr. Michael Laura, who's a psychiatrist who deals with food and changing the microbiology of your brain using food, he approves it. So that's one thing to do. Another thing that the Diet Cure book Julia Ross talks about is doing things to increase your GABA. So that would be a relaxation response, coupled with some sort of green tea to help increase the GABA. So one of the things I always talk about is arranging your environment. So with my little Lindt chocolate, this was so readily available. I'm embarrassed to say that I kept it by my teacups, and I drink tea every night. So that was a really bad idea to put it by my teacup. So all I really had to do was get this out of the environment, maybe pick a different cupboard. One of the things that I'm really fortunate about is I have a daughter who uses this for her training, and she likes to keep it in her room, and she goes to bed early, and she doesn't like me waking her up. So if I'm working till late at night and I come home and I want some chocolate, I'm not going to go in her room and wake her up to steal a piece of chocolate. I'm just not going to do it. It's just not worth it. So if you arrange your environment where it's a little harder to get to, you're going to be less likely to use it. I just did my stats today and realized that I'm going to have to bring down my carbohydrates a little bit more. And so I'm looking at pulling out rice from my diet. I'm doing this because I'm doing another figure competition in 5 weeks and I gotta lean out. So my strategy around this is when my family cooks rice, we're gonna cook smaller amounts of rice. I'm gonna put it in a non-see-through container in the refrigerator, and I'm gonna stuff it in the back so that I don't see it. Personally, I don't really care for the rice. I don't really like it. I've been forcing myself to eat it. But, you know, if it's readily available and I'm hungry and I didn't prepare healthy foods to eat, I might go for that stuff. And that's the third thing I want to talk about. When you're arranging your environment, you're not only getting the unhealthy stuff or the stuff that you want to break out of your environment, you're also bringing in a lot of good healthy foods that you like back into your environment. So I'm going to start prepping my food so that when I'm hungry, I have something healthy to go for and something that I can eat. So those are all strategies of arranging your environment so that you can be successful. Okay, so there's a lot of research out there on food saying that if you delay for 10 minutes, it gives the leptin in your stomach, which is a hormone, I believe, to send a message up to your brain saying, heck, you're full. There are a lot of people who do not have the leptin in their stomach, and that's why they overeat, but most people do have it. I also study a lot on impulse control for other types of things. For example, if you were a gambler or if you were smoking cigarettes, the research on that comes in at 15 minutes. So if you delay it 15 minutes for impulse control, and I think food is kind of like an impulsive thing that you do, that's what the research says on that. You just want to set a timer and wait. Some other things that are super helpful to help you wait is to brush your teeth. Chances are if you brush your teeth, you're going to distract yourself. You're going to have a nice clean mouth, maybe some teeth whitening stuff while you're at it. You're not going to eat with that, and by the time you take it out and brush your teeth, you're going to forget about it. Gum works really good. A lot of times if I'm cooking something that I can't eat because I'm allergic to it, I'll just chew gum, and that just takes the edge off of it. Or if people are having dessert or something at a party that I can't eat, boom, I'm having something that I can eat or chewing gum. Another thing is to just distract yourself by taking a walk. There's been a lot of research on using exercise or relaxation to curb cravings. So that's another thing that you can do. You can take a walk, you can practice a relaxation technique. Last but not least, there's a mindfulness approach that is called riding the wave. And that's where you notice it, you say, heck, you know, it's 8:30, it's 10, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'd really like to have some chocolate. Yep, this is me craving chocolate right now, so you name it, and then you notice it, you feel it, okay, I'm salivating, and then you use some self-talk. That's okay. Yeah, of course you want chocolate. It's some pretty yummy stuff, but you can have your You can have your chocolate stevia and your protein powder instead, or you can have a salad instead. You'll just feel happier in the long run because you'll do what you said you were going to do, and you'll just feel better about yourself. Okay, so the last piece is about using rewards or punishments. I like to use rewards. When I pull anything from my diet, I have this really cool technique. What I do is if I take something that I love out of my diet, I allow myself to coast for 2 weeks. So that means I'm only taking one food out. And that gives me some time to just kind of gel with it. Like all I have to do is just not eat the chocolate. I can do anything else. What I might do is bring in some fun foods as a reward. I know it doesn't seem like a reward to some folks out there. That is, I get Brussels sprouts and I shave them or cut them really little and put them in a pan with some olive oil, and then I put it in my microwave and it broils it for about 10, 11 minutes, and then I eat those, and they're just so wonderful. So I have a real treat substitute that I use if I'm going to make a change as a reward. Another thing that I've noticed is that when I have my allergy reactions, I have really bad consequences. For example, the last time I ate nuts, I loved it for a while because my lips got all swollen, and I remember going to a Girl Scout Halloween party with my kids, and for a night I was like, I'm Angelina Jolie. I was having a blast with my big old hanging lips. But the problem is that when I got home, my eyes started to swell up and I couldn't see, and I had to be rushed into the ER. I had a bunch of shots, and I looked like I had a black eye for 3 days. My face was swollen for 3 days. And quite frankly, I can't afford the downtime of the negative consequences of the food that I eat. So that's a great way to stay in line when you just can't afford to take the time off of work. You can't afford to go around looking like somebody just beat you up. That's a pretty good consequence. There's a website called Stick, but it's a really interesting website. It's a website where you commit to a goal and they bug you about your goal. Or you can pay money to this website. So if you make your goal, you get to keep your money. And if you don't make your goal, you could donate money to your anti-charity. So that means that if I eat my chocolate bar at night, where I normally do, I could have this thing set up with my credit card that it donates $200 into supporting guns or something that I'm not in support of. So sometimes people get a lot of mileage from that. It just really made it such a negative consequence that they thought about their behavior. So breaking a bad food habit is really hard to do, but it's essential for somebody with food allergies or somebody who just wants to eat healthier so that they can do better and feel better in life. So I hope that you got some tips on how to change your behavior, because the more behaviors you change, the better you'll get at it. So what you need to do is you need to learn what your cues are, what makes you want to go for the food, arrange your environment so that you can not go for the food and go for something healthier. Also create a substitute for yourself, knowing that you'll want the food, you're going to have something else to take its place for a couple weeks. You're going to distract yourself and delay, knowing that if you wait 15 minutes, it might go away. And last but not least, you're going to reward yourself with a fun, exciting food, maybe an app, a book. There's lots of different things to reward yourself. Or you could think about a consequence for your behavior, such as donating money to your anti-charity. So I'd love you to like this video and write a comment in regards to what have you done to change your unhealthy eating or to drop a food from your diet. And I want you to think about one food that you think that you would be better without, and create a plan and give it a try, because we know that every behavior you change builds a better you. Bye, thanks for watching.
Remember, every step you take builds a better you.